それでは次の講演始めさせていただきます。次の講演はタン・キアンソンさんによる10万ドル相当のビットコインウォレットを盗んだのは誰か、新しい詐欺的な餌で全員捕まえようです。タン・キアンソンさんはフリーのセキュリティ研究者でいらっしゃいます。で、ハニーネットプロジェクトのメンバー、いくつかのオープンソースネットワークセンサーとハニーポットの開発に携わっていらっしゃいます。ブラックハットアジアをはじめ、多くの国際会議での発表経験をお持ちです。今回のテーマについてはタンさんから動画をいただいております。Our next session is Who stole my $100,000 worth Bitcoin wallets? Catch them all with new deceptive bait. Please welcome our speaker, Tang Kian-shan.
Hey, good day, everybody. Thank you very much for listening to me to my Bitcoin wallet story. Yeah, my name is Kian. I am an independent security researcher and member of the HoneyNet project. Personally, I always have this one big question in mind. So what if you and I, we put some sort of our personal files on the internet openly, and then we just let it there for maybe 90 days? What will happen to them? This is always the big question in my mind, and eventually this form so-called the fundamental for these big interesting topics right here. Who stole my $100,000 worth of a Bitcoin wallet? So ladies and gentlemen, definitely for the next 30 minutes, we are going to explore about this behind the scenes story about how we try to let our $100,000 worth of Bitcoin wallet to be stolen, and some sort of other interesting story behind the scene. Yeah, so we'll explore about three things right here. So first, let's try to explore about this new tool, namely Honeybag, which we created for these particular purposes. And then secondly, where we put and how we put all these kind of files on the internet. Yeah, last but not least, the most interesting part. What happened to all of them, all of these Bitcoin wallet that we push on the internet for 90 days. Well, let's do this together. Nowadays, internet security research company scanning the entire internet for those kind of insecure configured web server. And then a lot of brain behind the scene thinking of how can we secure it nicely, because those servers expose sensitive information on the internet. Also, the bad guy, the other side of the world, they did the same. They are looking at the same exposed information on the internet, and they are continue to harvest those kind of data which interests them the most. For example, if they try to compromise one of the server, they can go into the environment looking for juicy information. It could be credit card details, company business plan, some sensitive or confidential data which are not supposed to be exposed to the internet. Well, this would be the same analogy as could be one of the street thief, which is they carrying an empty bag, try to crash into a certain environment, sneak into that, and then fill with the bag with all those kind of jewelry, for example, gold, silver, all the valuable things. They will carry the full bag just to try to sneak out from the premise. Well, in the lots of movie, we will see that, hey, somebody tried to put a GPS tracker into those kind of bag. So when the thief transport the bag from one single locations into another single locations, this GPS tracker will give us a small little ping, or they will reveal some sort of certain information about the attackers behind the scenes. Well, this is definitely the approach that we are going to go for today, about honey token approach, about the bait approach. Yeah, and let's try to start this with a real life example together. Oh, back in 2017, thanks to Mr. Didier Steven, one of the very well-known security professional, created this very interesting blog on a SANS blog post. Didier Steven, during that time, he started to see a lot of malicious internet scanning, try to pickpocket Bitcoin wallet from his web server. Well, end of 2017, Bitcoin price is all-time high. I believe that the whole world is really crazy about it. Everyone would like to get a small little Bitcoin because it really costs a lot of value. And then back then, malicious internet scanning happened all the time. People are looking for exposed Bitcoin wallet on the internet. So well, Mr. Didier Stevens started to observe certain pattern from those kind of scanning pattern, and eventually those kind of patterns came back after a couple of months, from months to months. I like his web server log, which I posted on this screen right now. Let's take a quick look together. What's happened in this web server log? Well, what you have seen on the screen right now, this is the web server log, belongs to Mr. Didier Stevens' domain. This is personally, I would like to say that this is a very beautiful and very sexy web server log. In order to read this, the very easy way will be at the most left column, it is a IP address. It followed by the timestamp, and then followed by the HTTP GET method. Again, it followed by the URI, and then the HTTP response code such as 404, and eventually they follow by the user agent itself. So this is a very easy way that how can we read this nicely. But just in brief, somebody was trying his luck and try to guess about the correct wallet's name on Mr. Didier Stevens' web server. Well, of course, he or she was hit with a 404 HTTP response code because there was no Bitcoin wallet over there. But what catch our attention the most is those patterns that how they scan for those kind of Bitcoin wallet. So let's take a quick look together. In a very common crypto wallet name, it could be commonly known as wallet.dat or wallet_backup.dat. This is just a very common file name for crypto wallet. And then somehow the bad guys try to scan for the zip file which contain the Bitcoin wallet, in namely wallet.zip or wallet backup/wallet.zip. In this case, as Honeybot researchers, as Honey Tokens hobbies, I have this big question in mind as well. What if we can feed the bad guy with the information that they need with certain fake content? Eventually, when they start to open up the zip file, unzip the zip file, try to access the content with it, this will gather some sort of information about the bad guy back to us. This is one of the very fundamental idea, and eventually this idea turned into this new tool, which we name it as a Honeybag. Well, let me introduce to you Honeybag, a tools that help you to create a big archive, could be a zip file, with any folders and any folders and files embedded in it. It will notify you if someone accesses it. We believe that these tools will be very useful for data breach detections or deceptions defense mechanism later. Let's take a quick look together how it works. Well, I will say that Honeybag contains 3 different components. First component will be this Honeybag client. Second component will be a simple DNS server. The third component will be optional, which is we can set up a responder in order to work with a Honeybag together. So for Honeybag client, this is just a very simple Python script. We can easily generate one single zip file or many zip files together, and this kind of zip file it contains any embedded folder files, for example, document, PDF, or any text files that you name it, you can have it. Definitely, what I want to emphasize right here is the final zip file, how it looks like. Yeah, So on the screen right here, on the right screen right here, this is one of the example of the zip file that we created. In this case, this zip file named secret.zip. It contains a folder called secret folder. Well, it just only have one single PDF file in it, namely super secret document.pdf. Well, during the creation process, Honeyback will automatically slot two different files into it. First will be the first one with the file extensions .url. Second will be the file name desktop.ini. Both files will serve as the alerting mechanism in this case for our Honeyback. Well, these two files are pretty commonly found in a Windows operating system such as Windows 7 or Windows 10. Yeah. Initially, both of the files with the legitimate purpose, they serve their own purpose, such as desktop.ini is the one that will control how a folder will be displayed on the Windows Explorer. For example, we can customize the icon for it. We can customize the info tip, which is such as you and I, we can move our mouse, our computer mouse definitely. Yeah, just go to the folder, and then the folder will show us about the info tips. Yeah. Secondly, about the .url internet shortcut files. This is meant for convenient purpose. If someone created this file, if we double click on it, it will link us to the particular HTTP URL, a legitimate one. Yeah, it's just mainly for convenient purpose, but definitely these two files is very useful for as alerting mechanism. And I would like to thank this to Things Canary token for found out this particular very interesting technique. Yeah, both files will try to look for their icon file locally into a maybe C Windows directory. But what if we can try to tweak these internal resources into external resources? We'll try to redirect desktop.ini or .url, look for the icon file on the external locations. Yeah, in this case, the external locations could be a domain sitting outside, out there, or it could be an IP address that is sitting somewhere on the internet. Well, in this case, this can form a very interesting alerting mechanism in this case. Well, so now the big questions. What if someone tried to download the secret.zip file, unzip it, and click into the secret folder? What will happen in this case? In this case, once he unzip the file, try to access into the folder itself, these actions will automatically trigger two alert mechanism which we well defined right here. The desktop.ini will reach out to our simple.dns domain, and it will talk to our simple DNS server. So our server will start to log those kind of incoming requests and log it nicely in the SQLite logging. So for the second alert mechanism, which is .url in this case, the internet shortcut file will try to reach out to the IP address which we can set up a responder on it. And in this case, we can start to collect NTLM hashes or NTLM2 V2 hashes for later analysis purpose. Well, in this case, in overall, we'll collect various pieces of information, such as the source IP address. Those from the DNS traffics, we can collect username, computer name, domain name. From the responder, we can collect the NTLM hashes V2 or versions 1 hashes. All of these can eventually gel up to be a very interesting pictures for analysis later. Well, just one small little caveat right here, or limitations right here. Currently, the alerting mechanism will be only applicable for Windows because it is highly relying on the UNC path tricks and technique. Well, if someone try to download the secret.zip file, open the zip file on a Linux or OS X operating system, well, it won't trigger any alerts back to us. But in the future developments, we hope that we can have some sort of better techniques for Linux and OS operating system. If anytime you came across with this kind of interesting technique for both of these two operating system, feel free to reach out to us. Yeah. Well, right now we have these honey bags on hand. Yeah. So the next questions will be, how can we use it and get the best out of it? Yeah. We try to explore about different use cases, and after a lot of discussions and a lot of thought process behind the scenes, we came up with this one very interesting idea. As everybody loves Bitcoin, yeah. So what if we put a $100,000 worth of a Bitcoin wallet on the internet for 90 days? What will happen to all of them? Yeah. Definitely in this case, I don't have $100,000 worth of Bitcoin wallet right here. I really wish that I had. If you are going to donate it to me, I will be very appreciative of it. Thank you very much in advance. But well, in this case, we start to look for this very interesting alternative called BTC testnet, the Bitcoin testnet. Well, we start to create 10 different Bitcoin wallet right here. Each of them will be unprotected and they will contain one BTC testnet. Well, the main differences between BTC testnet and BTC is both of them they have the same underlying technology, which is Bitcoin, but then BTC testnet is mainly for the use of development purpose. If someone would like to test build applications with Bitcoin transactions, he can use BTC testnet in order to test it nicely. Well, BTC testnet don't have any exact value on it. The value itself is just a test value. You can't really exchange BTC testnet value to the real US dollar in this case. BTC testnet can be obtained from a lot of falsehood on the internet. So I would suggest that once you finish it, please transfer it back to the falsehood, because it will be very helpful for the community to use it. Yep. Another main difference between BTC testnet and BTC is BTC. Both of them, they will have a different prefix in the Bitcoin address, but the wallet itself, they are pretty similar. I mean, in terms of the structures and stuff. So in this case, once we created all these kind of 10 BTC Bitcoin wallet, and we start to push it on the internet on different open directories, web servers. Yeah, in this case, we just try to build it in the same analogy as if someone leave wallet on the streets in the real life. Will the wallet get stolen? Or will it stay intact over there for maybe after a while? Or it could be someone just pick it up and return it to you. Yeah, I mean, this is what we are trying to explore in this case. And of course, it's also about wallet itself. Wallet is always a very sensitive thing. It's just about a place or the placeholder with a lot of cash, or credit card, some sort of personal identity card on it. Definitely, this will be a very interesting use case if you just push a wallet out there openly on the internet. And yeah, this is what we are trying to do. So initially, in the very beginning of the experiment, we expect that our web server will be such interesting as what Mr. Didier Stevens sing on his web server, which full of a very sexy and beautiful weblog, a lot of interactions. People are trying to fight to grab a copy from your web server. But in this case, this is the expectation, but in reality, the reality is so disappointing. Well, web server is just so quiet all the time for many weeks, and from time to time we'll see some of the cat or fly. They fly into the web server and say hi. If we're lucky enough, sometimes we'll see Google bot Bing's bot will try to talk to our web server. That's all. Well, it's really disappointing, and we thought of in this case, this would be one of the failure, or the entire use case is just really disappointing. Yeah, but definitely the first lesson learned, just be patient. After a while, we started to have the thought about more proactive approach. We start to put some sort of message on Pastebin. For example, hey buddy, this is my secret personal backup Bitcoin wallet, and please don't download it. Well, when you start to put the word please don't download it, I think people just don't care, and people start to download it. Yeah, the world start to go crazy about it. So what happened in 90 days? Well, ladies and gentlemen, within 90 days, all our 10 Bitcoin wallet were stolen, and 9 of them alert us with thief information. One of them is missing. I suspect that because of the wallet was open of view in a Linux or OS X operating system. One of the very interesting observations would be the fastest record for the stolen wallet is less than 1 minute after we posted it on Pastebin. Well, let me share with you about one of the very interesting use case which we observed in 90 days, as someone just totally wiped out our BTC testnet wallet. Yep. Yeah, this was happening during March 23rd or March 24th this year. Initially, we started to push this Bitcoin wallet on our web server on March 23rd. Yeah, within less than 24 hours, surprisingly and unexpectedly, the value in our BTC testnet is totally empty. Hey buddy, this is just a BTC testnet, and it don't have any exact value into it. It's just a test value. So I'm not sure why. Yeah, but hey, let's try to take a quick look about the 3 components right here. First will be the web server. Second will be the Honeyback DNS alert, and the third one will be the responder. Well, so on March 24th this year, our wallet.zip file was stolen on 1440 UTC. This web server logs reveal the HTTP code will be 200, which indicates the connection is successful. He's managed to get a wallet.zip file from us. Well, 2 minutes afterwards, we start to observe the DNS alert in our Honeyback DNS, simple DNS server. For the DNS query, you can see a very long DNS query, which is it contains a predefined different column. In this case, for example, the first column will be is filled with the value as blue, and this is the username. And then the second column will be the desktop dash followed by the string. This is the computer name. And then after that, it followed by the domain name itself. This is how the DNS query works in this case. But from here, it indicates that someone really unzipped our zip file and then browse into the content itself. Yeah. If you try to correlate with the third component, which is the responder part, we can even sing about his NTRM v2 hashes on the responders. Yeah, in this case, the username is blue, and the hostname itself is quite similar with what we have seen just now on the Honeyback DNS server. Yeah, so as a quick timeline overview, on March 24th, 1440 UTC, our wallet was stolen from the web server. 2 minutes afterward, we start to receive the first DNS alert. In this case, indicates that he or she accessed our wallet.zip file. After a while, the SMB alerts appear in our responder log. So from the first minute that our wallet.zip file was stolen, after 35 minutes, he or she transferred the entire value in our BTC testnet wallet to another BTC testnet. addresses. I'm not sure why he did that, or maybe he's found about what we do and he just feels so pissed off about what we have done. Definitely this is a very interesting learning experience. Yeah, in this case about how we can use Honeybag in terms of a cyber defense perspective. Yeah, just a couple of do and don'ts about our lesson learned. So first of all, be patient. Yeah, it's always a pain and a fun for honeypot researchers or honey token practitioners. Definitely, it's always take time until the exact great moment that we can harvest a good result in this case. Well, I would suggest that customize your own unique deceptive bait. The more unique it is, I believe that it will give us a better result or perspective in the long run. I will also suggest to put up a warning message or banner, such as "Hey, buddy, this is our personal files, proprietary files, or company secret folders. You are not allowed to download this." But well, uh, I guess some people maybe don't care, and yeah, eventually this can lead us to some sort of interesting story behind the scene. Last but not least, will be never underestimate about the great impact of this. Initially, our approach is mainly for Windows purposes, but who knows? 9 out of the 10 of our Bitcoin wallet file came back with certain thief information back to us. Yeah. So Honeybag, a tool that will help you to create a bait archive with any files and folders, notify you if someone access it. You can download this from GitHub. This is an open source tool. Just go to GitHub and search for Honeybag. It contains a couple of prerequisite requirements about how to set it up nicely. And there are 10 simple steps just to set up Honeybag nicely. Yeah. So that is what I have for today. Just want to thanks to CodeBlue 2020 for this wonderful event. I'm really wish that I can be in Tokyo today. Yeah. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.